Can anybody hear me or see me on any of the three cameras it looks like I'm on right now?
Oh, yeah. See,
Here's loud as Terry. You want me to bang the hammer?
Oh, yes, please, let's call this to order. Oh man, this is embarrassing. All right, so I'm going to call the Grand Forks County Commission meeting to order. Since I am not able to be in person, I'm going to hand over my chair duties to the vice chair, Mr. Rustad. So please, Commissioner Rustad, take it away.
So with that, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance if you're able.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome to the Grand Forks County Commission meeting. There's can't possibly be anybody listening or in the room that isn't in some pain and feeling some grief right now. We lost a colleague, we lost a friend, mother, grandmother, wife, and so I'm gonna speak on behalf of the county here and then say a few things myself. And then I will open it up to anybody and everybody that would like to say something about our friend. We are heartbroken by the sudden loss of our dear friend and colleague, Cynthia Peach. Cynthia dedicated so much of her life to serving our county and caring deeply about the people she worked with. Her kindness, commitment, and steady presence will be truly missed. Our hearts and prayers are with her family and loved ones during this difficult time. I echo those sentiments. I often joked with people and even Cynthia herself that we really only voted alike to approve the minutes and to adjourn. And so you would think that we didn't have a good relationship, but that couldn't be further from the truth. When my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer, ever since finding out about that, before even saying hello to me, when I would be with Cynthia, she would ask me, "How's Jen doing? How's Jen doing? You got any updates on Jen?" And that kind of speaks to her character and what kind of a human being that she was, because she cared so much about people. And she was living, breathing proof that people can disagree politically and absolutely adore one another and be fond of each other and get along perfectly. And I think her last name is perfect for her because she was a peach. Cynthia was a friend of mine, a friend of my wife's. I only got to know her for 3 years and change. And I'm very grief stricken by this unfortunate turn of events, but her pain is done now. And so, Cynthia, until we meet again, may you fly high. And now I'm going to open up the microphone at the podium or anyone's individual microphones to say whatever they would like to do. Mr. Rost.
I think I'll just stand here. I think everybody can hear me. I was informed by Alan Peach of her passing. Actually, he told me about the difficulty she was having down at Sanford with her kidney transplant, and told me that she was on in a coma and on oxygen, and he would let me know if there was any changes, but it didn't look really good. The next day, he did call me and tell me that she passed. Cindy, I guess I knew her for a long time. Totally all as her time as a county commissioner. And when I was on the sheriff's department and I was the sheriff, I'd come up to the county board and I'd ask for things. And I didn't always get what I wanted, as Andy knows what that's like. But she was very specific and detailed as to what she thought about what my request was, and legitimized everything. So one little story that I'd like to tell is we had our Chamber of Commerce banquet the other night. I think it was a week ago, last Monday, over at the Alaris Center. And I come in and I know I'm supposed to go to table 19. So I'm looking around for table 19. So I go and start working my way down. I see Cynthia Peach sitting all by herself at this round table. And I said, that's got to be table 19. So I go down there and sure enough, it's her. So rather than go around and visit with everybody, I thought I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk to Cindy, not knowing that it would probably be the last visit that I had with her. And we talked about a lot of things. And she was telling me, that, she wasn't going to run again, after her term was up. And she just fully enjoys, working for Grand Forks County, working for the people of Grand Forks County, as well as the employees. She was a real asset to the employees. She always spoke up for the employees all the time. And so it was a really good visit that I had with her. I think right now what I'd like to do is I would like to read Cindy's obituary. And for those of you that don't know, her funeral service will be held at the Alaris Center this Thursday. The visitation will be from 5 to 7 p.m. and the prayer service will be at 7. And the reason it's at the Alaris, if you know Cindy, she's got people in Minnesota and North Dakota that she's been working with for years. And so it's going to be a big service. Then on Friday at their church, the Elk Valley Church in McKenna, North Dakota, there will be one during the day. This will be 10 o'clock Friday morning. This will be visitation with a prayer service at 11 o'clock p.m. or a.m. So, all right. Cindy Lou Peach, age 62 of Niagara, North Dakota, peacefully departed this life on February 13th, 2026 in Fargo, North Dakota, with her husband Alan by her side. Cindy was born on December 13th, 1963 in Grand Forks, North Dakota to Richard and Elaine West, and was raised on the family farm near Niagara, a place that shaped her roots and her resilience and her deep love for community. The values instilled in her there became the foundation upon which she built her life and guided every role she would later hold. At just 14 years old, Cindy met Alan Peach, a local wedding dance, and a chance encounter that bloomed into a long-time love story. They dated throughout high school, college, and were united in marriage on May 31st, 1985. Together, they built their life on the family farm in Niagara. It was there that Cindy created a home filled with laughter, purpose, hospitality, and open doors. In 1982, Cindy graduated from Unity High School. With characteristic determination, she went on to earn her bachelor's degree in business education from the University of North Dakota, where she was a proud member of Gamma Phi Beta. Her professional life reflected her heart for service. Cindy began her career teaching at Sacred Heart and Ockers Business College before joining Tri-Valley Opportunity Council, where she faithfully served for more than 30 years in a variety of roles. Her dedication to improving the lives of others extended beyond her career. At the time of her passing, she was serving her 5th term on the Grand Forks County Commission, carrying out her responsibilities with integrity, energy, and unwavering commitment to her community. She also served on countless boards, committees, always going above and beyond to make a difference. Faith was not simply something Cindy had, it was something she lived. She used to teach Sunday school at Elk Valley, served as a lay minister for several area churches, and quickly but constantly helped others through encouragement, leadership, and compassion. A true go-getter, Cindy rarely sat still. She was the life of every gathering and loved hosting. From Sunday dinners to unforgettable farm parties that friends and family still talk about. She was an excellent cook and baker, an avid gardener, and could almost always be found mowing the lawn on the farm. She lived intentionally and enthusiastically, traveling often and cheering loudly for UND athletics, especially hockey and football. Of all her roles, however, the ones she treasured most were wife, mother, grandma. Cindy and Ellen were blessed with 2 children, Carissa and Justin, and she embraced motherhood wholeheartedly. But becoming grandma was her greatest joy. Her grandchildren, Arlo, Jovi, Hallie, and Annie were the light of her life. She treasured every game, every hug, every small, ordinary moment that became meaningfully simple because she was present. This winter, Cindy and Alan checked off several bucket list experiences together, attending an NHL game in Winnipeg and both an NBA and NFL game in Minneapolis. In June, they were looking forward to completing their list with a cruise to Alaska, another adventure they eagerly anticipated side by side. Throughout her life, Cindy faced significant medical challenges with remarkable courage and determination. She met each obstacle head on, never defined by hardship and never allowing it to slow her down for long. Her strength was steady and unshaken, even on difficult days. She chose gratitude, faith, and forward motion. Those closest to her witnessed a woman of extraordinary resilience, one who carried more than most ever knew, yet continued to live boldly and fully. Cindy loved deeply. She showed up, she worked hard, she laughed loudly, she served faithfully. She created a home and life that made others feel welcomed. Known and valued, her legacy is one strength, service, laughter, an unwavering devotion to her family and faith. Through her presence will be profoundly missed. The imprint of her love will continue in the family she nurtured, the community she served, and the countless lives she touched. She is survived by her husband, Alan, of Niagara, North Dakota, who lovingly stepped into the role of caretaker, her daughter, Carissa, Gabe Wirtz of Fargo, North Dakota, her son, Justin, Kelly Pick of Gilby, North Dakota, her parents, Richard and Elaine West of Niagara, her cherished grandchildren, Arlo Wirtz and Jovi, Hallie, and Annie Peach, her sister, Julie Sandbakken of Devils Lake, North Dakota, her sisters-in-law, Annie, Anita, Brian Matheson of Walhalla, North Dakota, and Jackie Wayne Anderson of Northwood, North Dakota, and many beloved nieces and nephews. She was preceded in death by her in-laws, Rose and Clarence Peach, her grandparents, Hannah and Julius Gilbertson, and Edith and Roy West, and her favorite fur baby gardening buddy, Tank. A memorial service will be held at 11 a.m. That's Friday at Elk Valley Lutheran Church on Friday, February 20th. And then, of course, I explained to you about the Alaris Center this Thursday. And to order memorial trees or a memory of Cynthia Peach, please visit our tree store. So Amundsen's Funeral Home is handling the service. So, all right. Thank you.
I'll open it up to anybody else. Michelle, would you like to? Make sure to hit the button on the.
So good afternoon to everyone. Today is a difficult day as we mourn the loss of Commissioner Cindy Peach. She passed away after dedicating many of her life in service to others. More than a colleague, she was my friend. If you knew Cindy, you knew that her passion and her laugh was infectious. Whether she was fighting for county employees, rural residents, or quietly helping a neighbor, she did so with grace and compassion. And this is rare to find. She didn't just hold a seat at this table. She used it to make sure everyone was taken care of. And as an advocate for all of our residents, she ensured that every corner of this county had a voice. She leaves behind a legacy of kindness and compassion that we should all strive to carry forward in our own lives, in our own work. Our county is stronger and better because of her. To lead is to serve. No one embodied this sentiment more than Cindy Peach, and I will miss her deeply. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful words. Is there anybody else that would like to say anything? I see you grabbing your microphone there. Is that a hint?
I'll give way to anyone else first, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay, Robert, come on up. This is anybody. Doesn't matter if you're an employee or not. I'm just gonna leave it.
I'd just like to say that I've never met anybody that could celebrate your own joy as much as Cindy Peach could. I am just going to miss her saying, "Good for you," about anything. It could be that you ate an apple for the day, and she'd be just as excited if you bought a new dog. I was just like reflecting today. I'm like, that is something I want to bring forward, is actually just be better about celebrating people's joys with them. And that is my legacy that I'm going to carry forward from Cindy. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to say anything? Or
Well, Mr. Chair, I'll just say it's from the moment I walked in this morning. It's somber around here. So Cindy was a delight. Commissioner Peach was a delight. Always very welcoming. And loved all she loved being on the county commission and the employees, but I know the employees, their hearts are breaking today. It's very somber around here, so she'll be missed.
thank you, Mr. Ford. Thank you to everybody for the kind
Mr.
words.
Rusted, I just want to say I want to
Yes,
give
sir.
condolences to her family and friends, and also that Cindy impressed me with her attitude considering her health. She was always very positive about because it could be easy to be discouraged or grumpy, and she never was. So I want to just say that. And I once again the best to her friends and family.
Yeah, no question about it. Thanks to everybody for the kind words for our friend and colleague. And unfortunately, we actually have business to do. So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor? All right.
Aye.
Okay, move on to the order of agenda. There's one thing being added, a game of chance permit. It's Dakota Sporting Clays. Is that the one?
The Fort Build Association.
Oh, Forks. Okay, that's on the bottom of the stack. Does anybody have an issue with adding that to the I guess it'd be the consent agenda?
No, I make the motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay, with a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we will be approving the consent agenda, which would include that game of chance that we just added. Look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we move along to citizen comments. The only comment card I got was that very game of chance thing, so I don't think there's anything there. So we will move along to Director of Facilities. Bill, come on up.
Thank you, commissioners, for this opportunity. My information I have for you is primarily informational to you for the courthouse basement flooding from 2 weeks ago. On February 2nd, we discovered the basement flooded with water, with 46 inches of water was the actual depth at 6 a.m. And the discovery was because of a frozen water main that comes in through a tunnel in between the courthouse and the annex area or the boiler room area of the building. Ironically, I had went through very exhaustive efforts to disconnect water in the vacant building, especially after juvenile was out. Sewer lines were disconnected, sinks, toilets, water sources, all of these things were disconnected, drained down to avoid issues. However, the fact that there was still water required in the boiler room required that water main to remain active. After a 2-week good cold -0 freeze down without any flow on that pipe, we got the blessing of a water break in there. I took some corrective action on that and rerouted that water to the boiler room internally within the building, so that cannot happen again, regardless of what the commission's decision is to do with that building to the west of the courthouse from this point forward, whenever a decision is made on that. Mr. Ford had asked that Commissioner Bierke was inquisitive on how much money has been spent thus far. Very few invoices have actually come in yet because I had to hire contractors to assist us, both for the plumbing aspects of, I took the sewer mains out of the courthouse with a sledgehammer in order to drain the basement down in 4 hours. I had to have those restored again, had to get the water lines fixed, as well as once we got it drained down and began drying down, I had to bring in extensive rental dehumidification equipment that required temporary electrical service installed down there as well. So those types of things, I don't have those numbers for. What I do know, what we've spent this far does not include the hundreds of hours of labor, both by the state's attorney's office doing file restoration, courts doing file restoration, and my department doing haul out and mitigation and restoration to the basement. Just in my department alone, we have 190 hours logged to the basement recovery. The question had been raised whether or not the emergency fund could be used without a commission declaration of emergency for that, which we've used the emergency fund in the past, both for a water fountain rupture in this building 4 years ago, 2 years ago in the fire, 2 or 3 years ago, with fire in the jail. We used that emergency fund. We didn't use declaration on it. Ms. Morstead did find the declaration would be required by the commission if we were using federal money included with county money. Other than that, I don't know if there's any changes to that determination. But if there was a declaration required, I would be asking of that. But to my knowledge and to what Ms. Morstead did find, it would not be required on the commission's account. There is an insurance claim active against it. So in the past, what we've done, we use the emergency fund to pay for things. We get the insurance adjusted amount back that satisfies a balance of that emergency fund usage. And then we have to figure out if there's not enough there, how we satisfy that fund back to that for the incident that occurred. And that comes at a later date. Realistically, what will we be spending on it? I probably won't know a final hard number of all the expenses that come in for 2 to 3 months, just because it takes time to put that all together after it all comes in. And it can take a couple of months to get these invoices in, but we're pushing currently in expenses. We're probably pushing 30 grand right now, but it's still tabulating. That's not everything. It's not done. I did provide some photos to Ms. Morstead. If you're able to look at those, if or if you have any questions on those, or if you have any other questions, I'll entertain those.
Go ahead.
Well, I just want to make sure that, I know you're doing it, but all departments, whoever might be involved, make sure we're just tracking all of our costs so that we can, I'm gonna talk to Ms. Ford later, after, but, tracking everything so we need to file everything with insurance and make them say no as opposed to us taking things off the table before we know an answer. So, and I know you're doing that, and the rest of them just make sure every department tracks every penny we spend, and then we can file a very detailed claim and see where that goes from there. And so I just want to bring that up, and I know it's going to take time, but I just want to make sure that we fight. That's why you have insurance. So we want to make sure we get out there what we can for that. Thank you.
Is there anything else from Mr. Gruszewski? Okay, thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Thanks for the
I also
update.
want to mention, I
Well
want
done,
to
by
thank
the way.
Mr. Gruszewski and his staff and Ms. Wamstead. And I know they've put a lot of nights and weekends and extra hours in, a lot. And so I just want to say thank you to both their staffs for all the extra time they put in a wet, stinky basement.
100% concur. Yeah. Please pass that along to both of your staffs and the court staff as well. You know, let them know that we appreciate when disasters like that happen. It really just sucks, for lack of a better word. So, I guess with that, we'll keep moving along. County Engineer Nick West, come on down.
Thank you, commissioners. Guess I'll just real quickly say that having worked with Cindy for 12 years, I would echo everything that everybody here said, that she was very good to work with and was always good to the highway department, and she will be missed. First item I have on my agenda is called the KT Road Bridge. But the bridge on County Road 7 between Thompson and Crookston over the Red River. It's a beautiful bridge built in 2010, but Polk County reached out and asked for a memorandum of understanding for us as far as what the responsibilities are, getting it on paper. And just that the bridge is 50% owned by each county. Polk County takes 100% of the maintenance. MnDOT has been doing the maintenance for them and hasn't charged us. I don't know why, but if they ever did, I feel like we would be equally responsible for those costs. And if they were to send that, then we would share those terms as to what we agree to anyway. But
Maybe don't bring it up in a public meeting.
well, yeah, I want to be fair because we pay for our inspections on everything else.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, we have 250 other bridges, so what's one more? But with that, if there aren't any questions, I would ask for chair's signature on the document.
I have a question. This goes to your point. If we go to page 95 on our packet, in the middle under number 3, responsibility, it's got maintenance and inspection at Polk County. But then if you look down to the last sentence before number 4, it says all costs agreed to be paid by the county should be shared equally between Polk and Grand Forks counties. So those to me are contradictory statements. So what does that mean? Are they, I know what you said. So you're saying now they are paying all, but if they ever did say something, then we'd split 50-50?
Correct.
Okay. Because they kind of go against each other. But for right now, they're paying for everything. Well, I want to thank East Grand Forks and Polk County and state of Minnesota. I know you haven't had anything going on in that state for a while, so I want to thanks for all the help.
Yep. MnDOT's taking care of it right
Okay,
now.
all right.
So
Okay, I'll move approval. It's a great deal.
Second.
So we got a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. I think I've been forgetting to say that.
thank you.
Oh.
The next item I have for consideration is federal aid route revision through our MPO and our CMC routes. So back in 2024, the MPO and the executive committee approved adjusting some roads on Demers, Columbia, and Washington from rural to urban. So the city will now collect the urban funds instead of the county, which is normal for a city like Grand Forks. As they grow, they slowly absorb the county. What the DOT and Federal Highway is asking is that the county just concur with that change. And the reason this has been sitting here for quite a while is because I had a lot of questions for them. Because this was sent to me, I believe, in December. I've been back and forth with them in the city of Grand Forks as to, well, what happens to these roads as they transition. The day-to-day operations, as far as plowing snow, fixing signs, it's not a big deal for us. We can plow snow on them. We can fix a sign. That's not the question. Especially like you get down in Columbia and Washington area. We're down there, we're on 62nd Avenue, County Road 17, which is equally owned by city and county. We have to plow snow on the east end and the west end and the middle part of city. I tell our guys, well, if you're there, just plow it off because you got to go to each end anyway.
Yeah.
So, and the same with Demers too. That's not the problem, but the challenge to me is what happens when it needs something significant. Next time it needs an overlay and you start talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to maintain these roads. And perfect example, say like Washington, that half a mile or 47 hundredths of a mile, we just overlaid that last year.
Yeah.
Okay. I still think it was a good move on our part because otherwise we would have stopped half a mile short of 62nd Avenue. It would have looked really silly, in my opinion, to stop and leave an old chunk of road. So, we took care of it, but as far as the future maintenance goes, it's one of those things I don't have a great answer from the city yet, other than if the project is done, being that those segments are in the city, we can request urban dollars in conjunction with our rural dollars to do a project. And I think that's the answer of how to approach it and deal with it as it comes up. And I know our other counterparts in Fargo, Minot, and Bismarck contend with the same issue. And they're all a bit challenging in how they transition between city and county. But for this case, Federal Highway is asking for signatures on something that was done a year and a half ago.
Yes, Mr.
I've already brought this issue up with the MPO, and since I got 2 more years now, the dog will continue to bark. What you're saying here is, if I can summarize, is that they're still staying in the county, but they're now considered an urban road. And so I can just assure this commission and the taxpayers that when we go to work on those types of projects, then at the MPO level, I'm going to be say we did have to, the one we just did, said it had been a year from now, we were going to do it. Then that 0.47 should come from that pot of money, not from the county's pot of money, because they're now have the urban classification, because they are truly collector roads. They are bringing people into town. That's what their main purpose is.
Yep.
So, and I'll follow, Mr. Russ and I will talk about it, but we'll follow up on this. Any of these roads that, as they get close to Grand Forks, we're going to follow up on, and all future projects we're in total agreement on.
Yeah.
That we're going to be going to the MPO and in this area like this and say, okay, we want the MPO, because have we ever gotten anything from the MPO in your memory?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, well, been there a long time and we're old forever. So couldn't make a comment about the Vikings, Mark, but I won't. So what we should do here is out of order. We're going to fight for that now to start get some of those roads incorporated into this so that it goes through the MPO process and have that portion of the road funded that way. Then we'll use the county dollars for the extra 6.5 miles or whatever it might be.
Yep.
So I just want to make sure the commission knows that we're going to be, both of us are going to be on top of that from now on to make sure this is getting done. And I appreciate your work on helping me with that, Mr. West.
Absolutely. Thank you. It really is a conundrum because say the portion of Demers, well, it's from 69th to Amtrak. It's not in city limits. It's not in the city of Grand Forks limits. It's in the MPO boundary. So the city gets the urban funds, but I don't think they collect the tax dollars on the property. So it's this real limbo area that the MPO creates in all of the fringe areas around cities. And it creates problems that we have to work through.
And it's not only here, it's all over.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't an action item though, is it? Today, this is informational.
No, I am asking for signatures on the revision requests
Right.
Okay.
to authorize the county to agree with what the MPO changed a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and see, the key here is we're going to, in the future, when these roads come up for work, we're going to try and get that portion of that road funded through the MPO and not through the county.
Okay.
That's
That's what this is.
that, well, that's what we're going to work on. This is just saying that we agree to something that happened 20 months ago. I get that, but I just think in the past, maybe we haven't been aggressive on that, but we will be, because it's only fair that if it's in the MPO's urban area, then the funds in the urban account should help pay for up to
Yep.
where it all becomes county. Then it switches and then it's up to us.
Yeah.
So saying that, it's kind of two subjects in one, but we both agree we're going to follow up on all those, what I call collectors, whether it be the north, the west, the south. We have multiple roads that get close to the city, and we can get the MPO more involved than it's been in the past.
So this won't be an issue for quite a while on Columbia and Washington.
Right.
Because those have been overlaid recently, but they will be on 32nd and Demers,
Correct.
just so you're aware.
And we'll be fighting,
32nd, hopefully sooner than later.
and we'll be fighting the fight. So
Okay.
with that, I'll move approval.
Okay.
Second.
Vice Chair, I think the motion should include authorization for the vice chair to sign. Thank you.
Would that?
So
include
does the
anything I
second.
have to sign today then? Okay. We have a motion and a second.
Second, yep.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's an unanimous yes. So they trust me to write my name down on paper.
Thank you. My next request, excuse me, I'm going to have to skip the spring load limits. I'm not quite prepared to do that. Just so the board's aware, next meeting, I will plan on coming here with an updated spring ton limit map and list for postings this spring. And it's looking very positive, which I had anticipated, but I'm just not quite ready to present on that yet. My next request for the board would be a budget amendment. So in a nutshell, we ended up with more carryover than we anticipated in both of our funds. We routinely plan for carryover and routinely have more than what we plan for, because you just usually don't spend everything down exactly what you think. Especially when you're trying to do budgets in May and June, it's hard to figure out where the end of the year is going to end up. However, this year we ended up with quite a bit more than we had thought, due to not spending quite as much, but mostly in the 2150, we got additional flex fund dollars through monthly disbursements that were not budgeted. And there was additional general tax revenue. So 2150, that's the gas tax. 2140 is property tax. So in there, you can see I have a chart of what was approved, what the actual carryover was, how much is considered excess. And my request is to transfer 80% of that excess carryover to be transferred in the budget to a usable line item. So 2150, I would ask for $825,000 to be transferred to the road improvements fund. And in 2140 to transfer $407,000 to the construction fund. So we would have access to use them through various options that I would come to the board for permission to use later.
Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
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 There we go.
Thank you. My last request is to spend some of that money. So I have requests for 4 box culvert.
I'm like my wife.
Does she go in the right order? Um, So I have four structures, well, actually five structures, bridges to be replaced as box culverts. To note that, okay, the 12704, that's in legal drain 12. So tomorrow I would go to the board, the water board, and ask them to cover half of that cost. And also we have $244,000 left over of prairie dog funds, which I had budgeted and thought we would have spent all of that next year and then some. However, actual costs came in less than what was budgeted and bid on. So we have 244 left of that, which would be the first fund we would use. Any questions?
Is there any questions for Mr. West or otherwise?
I'll move.
Yep.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Unanimous approval.
Thank you. That is all I have.
So we are going to move on to the Finance and Tax Director.
Oh, members of the commission, my first item is the city of Inkster has agreed to waive the specials on one of the tax sale properties. They sent us a check for $25. One of the specials was for property cleanup of $11,450, and then the balance is penalty, interest, and taxes of about $1,771.
Very good.
So I would request a motion.
Oh,
I'll move.
Second.
motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
My next item is I need a motion to establish the voting places listed below for the 2026 elections.
I'll move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Kim, are you a no?
Yeah, I'm an aye. I can see why Cindy had a hard time getting those motions in. It's hard to click this button and get in there quick. Sorry.
Motion passes unanimously. I didn't think you were such a stalwart about voting locations.
You're just quick on it.
My next item is I propose a motion to establish an early voting precinct at the Alaris Center for the following dates. June 2nd through June 6th.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is a unanimous yes for your voting location or locations.
And then I propose a motion to establish an absentee ballot precinct for the June 9th, 2026 primary election.
I had a question on this. What exactly does that mean?
That's where we have workers come in and then they go through all the absentee ballots.
So do you count those before the election?
We don't read the actual tape until,
You just submit them through the,
yeah, they
And-
just verify signatures,
okay,
run them
Right.
through the machine, but they don't read the results.
okay, that's right. Okay, want to make sure. I'll move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
And my last item is I need a motion to set the polling hours for all election day polling sites in Grand Forks County from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for the 2026 elections.
Looking for a motion?
Move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Is there anything additional?
That's all I have.
All righty. County Administrator, Mr. Ford, anything for us today?
Just two quick updates, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Legislative Committee is going to meet February 26th. That's important because we want to get our legislative priorities ready for public disclosure and bring to the board soon for you to vote on so we can start socializing it. As you know, I think we're heading into a very, very challenging legislative session, and it'll be here before you know it. So we'll look to prioritize those and bring them to the board soon. And then the request of the board and Chair Hagan as well is we need to set a public safety and infrastructure committee meeting. As you know, we have departments that have submitted capital improvement requests. Mr. Grzeszki has those, Ms. Morstead has those. However, we need to present those to the Public Safety Infrastructure Committee meeting for that committee to approve and then bring to the board for approval. And I'd like to suggest 3 p.m. on March 3rd, so right before the County Commission meeting, if that would work for the commission. And just as a reminder, the Public Safety Infrastructure Committee is now the entire board, where it just used to be 3.
Yeah. Does anybody have any issues with that time?
Nope.
I'm good with it. Kimberly, are you good?
Yep. Should be fine. Thank you.
That's not an action item. We can just
That's it.
go forward with it.
Yes, and Ms. Morris said I'll notice it and
Okay.
we'll send it out to the commission.
Certainly.
That's all I have.
Thank you. State's Attorney Wamstead.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I was asked just to provide a brief update on the prosecution-led diversion program that our office is launching presently. If you recall, we previously discussed in the last legislative session, the governor's office and the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation championed some legislation to provide some funding for 3 pilot counties to be selected to start up a pilot site for a diversion program for those individuals involved in the criminal justice system. And so our office contemplated applying for this grant. We were encouraged by the chief of police at the Grand Forks Police Department because he had some prior experience with a similar program in a jurisdiction he previously was employed. And really, he had a background in working with individuals in the system related to drug offenses with their task force. And he shared his experience with us that it wasn't the solution for every individual in the criminal justice system, but for those right cases, it really was a game changer. And so he kind of got us enthusiastic about the idea. Our office decided to apply for this grant through the Department of Corrections and the governor's office, and we were selected, which I think I shared with the board a number of months ago. So in the last several months, we have been working with the Grand Forks Police Department and the Department of Corrections, as well as a number of other partner criminal justice agencies to kind of establish the framework for the program that we're going to be launching here in our county. There are 3 pilot sites that were selected throughout the state. It's my understanding that each county that is a pilot has set it up a little bit differently, and that was kind of the goal, so that the state can look at what's working, what doesn't, in deciding if they want to expand it after the next legislative session. In Grand Forks County, what we established here is a close partnership with law enforcement at the Grand Forks Police Department, in that the officers on the street typically know offenders better than we do, just because oftentimes they run across them numerous times, might have some familiarity with their personal circumstances. And so for our model, that's really the initial starting point for the referral. The officers on the street will identify if they believe this is an appropriate individual, an appropriate case for the diversion program, refer it to our office. And then that individual would be required to complete some preliminary risk assessments and evaluation to determine what are their risks, what are their needs. Is it somebody that would be appropriate to be served through this program? if they are accepted into the program by meeting certain criteria, our model is very similar to the criminal justice system. So they would be assigned to basically like a probation officer where they would have to report to. They'd have a list of conditions that they would have to complete, customized towards them, similar to an individual that's placed on probation by the court. So it might include treatment conditions, it might include community service, payment of restitution, etc. But before an individual is accepted into the program, we would consider those assessments that are done. We would consider the type of offense that they have allegedly committed. We have a long list of disqualifying offenses. We want this program limited to those cases that are low-level offenses, people that aren't repeat offenders in the criminal justice system, and those that we really feel by connecting them with services that hopefully will result in not seeing them again in the criminal justice system. So it will be a very narrow set of individuals and small set of cases that will be referred to the program, since we're just kind of testing the waters on the program. We don't want to bring in more than we have the capacity to serve. So once a person is accepted into the program, they would meet with a probation officer and need to comply with all the conditions. If they fail to comply with those conditions, we would charge them out as we traditionally do, and they would process through the criminal justice system. If the individual is successful in completing all their conditions of probation, then they would have the opportunity for those charges not to be filed if they're successful in completing those conditions. And then obviously the goal is that hopefully by connecting them to those services that they maybe otherwise wouldn't have had access to, because the key component of this program is that it's bringing state funds to Grand Forks County that weren't previously there. And so anyone that works in the criminal justice system knows there's a lack of resources, especially when we're talking about individuals that are chemically dependent or mentally ill. And so the goal is to bring some additional funds to our county and additional resources so that hopefully we can get these folks on the right track, and hopefully they won't be repeat offenders in the criminal justice system. So this is just a pilot that the state is administering. So it's essentially an 18-month program, and then we'll report back to the state. All 3 pilot counties will report back to the state on, how many individuals were in our program, how many were successful, how many were unsuccessful, and then the state legislature will make some decisions as to if they want to continue with any one of the models or how to proceed from there. So at this point in time, it's my understanding that the Grand Forks Police Department is in the process of training in their law enforcement officers as to the criteria and disqualifying offenses and disqualifying individuals. And then once their officers are trained up, then we would be ready to start accepting participants into the program. But I think it's important to go back to the initial goal of why the governor's office championed the program and why DOCR did as well. And it's kind of in an effort to provide an alternative that hopefully will end up being more effective than maybe the traditional methods. Acknowledging, as Chief Friedman has, is that it's not right for everybody, but for those certain cases and certain individuals, it really can be a game changer. So we're hopeful that we have the same experience as he did in his prior jurisdiction. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them, or citizens as well, today or otherwise.
Is there any questions for Ms. Wamstead? Well, thank you very much. Hopefully it'll work out. I'll go with committee reports next. Commissioner Bierke.
I have a Two, first of all, the Fair Board meeting, the website is grandforksfair.com, grandforksfair.com, and they're looking for board members. We're down to 3 board members or volunteers who want to help with the fair. So if anyone has an interest in the Fair Board or want to maybe volunteer and help with the fair this year and see what it's like, and from there decide if they want to be a member of the board, that you can go to that website and pass your information along. And then the other comment, I really publicly, but it needs to be said, because I've already got contact from the media and people. So, Mr. Ford, are you going to put out some kind of press release, what it takes to the process of the open seat? I don't want to appear insensitive, but I'm already getting people asking me, and I don't want to be giving people wrong information. So, at some point in the near future, you're going to release how all this is going to work so that the citizens who might be interested in applying know what they need to do.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Bierke. So I talked with the chair about this before the meeting. You as a commission will essentially make a motion to open up or a call for applications, much like when we thought Commissioner Ross might have to resign. So we'll put that application out. We'll put out that call, assuming the board does so, to fill that seat. And we can have it run for as long as you want. I would recommend running it for 2 weeks and then bring it back to the board. And the board can then determine if it wants to conduct interviews, have those that applied come to a commission meeting, interview them. It's up to you as a board. However, I'm going to defer to Ms. Wamstead. I think there's some question into how long an appointee would serve. And can I throw that to you, Ms. Wamstead?
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the statute regarding appointing a person to fill a vacancy on the Board of Commissioners provides that an appointee would serve till the next general election, which really kind of creates a complicated timeline in this particular circumstances because the next general election is November of this year. So if this board decides someone to appoint in March, for example, they would serve until November. If that person wished to run for the position that they were appointed to, they would need to collect signatures and have those signatures submitted by the deadline of April 6th. So it really creates kind of a sticky timeline. And that would be, obviously who you appoint wouldn't have to run, but if they wish to do that. And so that would be a separate candidacy or whatever you want to say on the ballot for the unexpired term of Commissioner Peach.
So let's just say that the person that's appointed were to either lose in the general election or decide not to run in the general election, how would you determine which one of I guess it'd be 4 commissioners that were elected, which one has the half term to get us back on cycle? Would it be the lowest vote getter, or how would that work?
So it would be on the ballot for the November election, and whoever wins would serve the unexpired term of Commissioner Peach. So they would next be up again when she would have been up.
But since it's at large, how would you know which?
So it would be a separate on the ballot.
It'd be a totally separate thing.
Separate position. So there would be the expired terms would be on the ballot, and that would be at large. But then the unexpired term would be a separate position.
Gotcha.
Okay, because I thought this is how this is going to go. I want to make sure I got this right. So if we appoint someone in enough time to get them on the ballot, then they're going to have to run in June. Is that correct?
Yep.
If we waited till after April, whatever that date is, and did somebody then, would that then mean that they could, if they chose to, and then it would just be in the November ballot? And would they still have to go get signatures and everything? How? Because I in some ways, if they have to all go out and get signatures in less than a month, that's going to get
Mhm,
difficult.
mhm. Agreed. So the statute provides, let me pull it up quickly here.
I guess my other question would be, who would run for a part, like a half term? I mean, that might be a write-in win.
So the statute provides that the appointee holds office until the appointee's successor is elected at the next general election that occurs at least 95 days after the vacancy and the successor has qualified. So, this is kind of interesting language that's used in this statute. I've conferred with the North Dakota Attorney General's office, the North Dakota Association of Counties. It's not exactly the most logical given the timeline we have here. Because if an appointee wished to run for the unexpired term, they would naturally need to move quite swiftly.
So, but back, if we waited till after April, whatever, and it's too late to get it on the ballot, could we open the process up then? Then they would have, could that election then just be in November and they'd have, if they chose to run, because see, then now we're doing something out of cycle there too, because normally you don't collect signatures. Or would the best bet, should we take more time and let more research go on before we go down this road? You see what I'm saying? How this is extremely confusing about, if somebody just wants to say, I'll do it for a couple of months, that's one thing. But if they're interested, then I don't want someone to not get an opportunity because of some rule. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Should we wait 2 weeks? I guess what I'm saying.
You know,
Because I don't put you on, I mean, it's confusing the way it's written because of where we're at in time.
mhm. I could do some additional research. I'm not really comfortable answering that.
I'm not comfortable at all. I get it.
You know, I don't want to lead you astray and give you the wrong answer.
Correct.
I want to
No.
make sure that, you know, I kind of reviewed this and reviewed some legislative history in light of the idea that this board would act swiftly in appointing somebody before that April 6th deadline. And so I'd probably want a little more time to make sure.
Okay. So should we just put this on the agenda for the next meeting? And then, because I want to make sure we do it right.
Mm.
And I want to make sure people have whoever's interested has a fair chance, everybody has a fair chance, and we don't skew it one way or the other. So Mr. Ford, both of you, would you agree to next meeting is good? Is that okay?
I'm not speaking for the state's attorney. I think it's good to table it until the next meeting.
I'm glad, that's why I didn't know what to do. That's why I knew, because of this, how close the next election is, it's going to be complicated. Thank you.
Commissioner Rost. Any committee reports?
Brick meeting, we had that at the Hive. All attendees were there talking about the base retention. Mr. Ford and myself met with Senator Hoven yesterday, talked about a lot of the aspects of new technology coming out to Grand Sky. So, and then I attended that Chamber of Commerce state of the chamber, so. That's it.
Very good. Mr. Bierke pretty much covered what I was going to go over. I have nothing further beyond that. I don't know if Chairwoman Hagan would want to add to that or expound upon that beyond normal committee reports, but Chairwoman, it's the ball's in your court now.
Thanks. I don't have anything additional for committee reports, but I agree that I would like Ms. Wamstead to further her research so we do this right and get the right information out there.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Sounds good. Move along to unfinished / new business.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to recuse you from the Grand Sky category here, and I would make that motion to recuse you for that. Sorry.
We have a motion and a second to kick me off the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
At 3-0, it passes with me recusing. So
Yeah, I will second that.
there's a motion and a second. Kim, you have to vote on this one.
No pressure.
So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Then what we got, water development plan.
I had a question on it, Mr. Rusted. This would be asked for Mr. Ford, and then between us and the water board and the water resource district, there's a timeline, how does that affect this county? Is there, who makes sure whatever gets in at the right time?
Those are typically handled, Commissioner Bierke, by the State Water Resource Commission. To answer your question, you mean specifically to make sure that
But it talks about you have to submit projects before April 30th.
Water board, sir. The water
Okay.
board. Yes, the water board.
And is that always all just in their purview? Do we just, they do what they do and we find out what happens?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm gonna say this, I'm sure they know the state and they're gonna apply for anything that would be a benefit to this county?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
We'll move along to correspondence. We've got two here, the Greater Grand Forks Community Service and Restitution Program. Thank you. That's on number 117. And then we've got the notice of hearing on petition / exclusion of Burleigh County from Garrison. Is there anything really more to elaborate on that, Ms. Morstead?
I just want to follow up on that one too, is that if they win, we got to get our name on the list. So we need to make sure we follow that. And then I believe though, that's the thing where you appeal to them, not to pay money to them and they get to decide. So I'm thinking the chances are slim to none. But if it does happen, we want to make sure we follow up on that because I think multiple of us have questions about their funding. They're down to funding recreational projects across the state. And I don't know why we're paying property tax to fund recreational projects scattered across the state. It sounds like a state function to me. So I'm assuming, Mr. Ford, you're going to keep an eye on that and report back to how that turns out?
Yes, sir. That's correct. If you're right. And I know that some commissioners have visited with me about this as well. You do have to petition and you have to demonstrate that a county is no longer benefiting from the diversion program. So yes, we'll wait and see what happens there.
All right, thank you.
Well, and if there's nothing else, I will entertain.
I would make a motion to adjourn.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.